Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 10-game NBA main slate on Friday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment of the video. So it starts with my Monday NBA video that I uploaded at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout the week. We'll end on my Monday NBA video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. So say if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner does receive $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So first, let's look back at my lineup here from the short 3-game slate on Thursday. So this is my final lineup here with Kyrie, Seth Curry, LeBron James, Wilson Chandler, Dwight Howard, Luka Doncic, Trevor Ariza, and Boban. So I went completely contrarian here. I always played a lot more risky on these smaller slates. Kyrie, obviously Dame was the much, safer play with no CJ, even for, $1,500 more. I just liked taking a risk there with Kyrie. Probably not going to work out here unless he has a big, last 5 minutes. I don't even know if he's still in the game right now. This game is turning into a blowout. Let me just check that. He might be out of the game, honestly. Let's see. Looks like he's still in right now, but yeah. So this is what I want again. If I was playing more of a cash game lineup, I would have definitely jammed Lillard in here again. I want Doncic. That's definitely going to be more contrarian as well. And then Ariza and Boban. Boban, I don't even know if he's going to play for sure, but that's a risk I'm willing to take in a short 3-game slate like this. LeBron, really solid here, 64 fantasy points right now. Wilson Chandler is a value play. I went to him once Jarrett Allen got rolled out. I figured he would get some backup 5 run. He was been pretty solid for his price. Dwight Howard, one of my favorite players there once JaVale McGee got rolled out. But yeah, and then Seth Curry. So, I felt like he's okay at his price, taking a shot there. He got inserted in the starting lineup. So I think we probably get at least 20 minutes from him. And then Ariza, again, he's going to be pretty popular. Doncic, I think he's going to go very low owned. I know everyone's going to play low owned, right? And Beal's already pretty popular. So I think Doncic is going to go super, super low on tonight. So if he has a big game, then it could definitely, be a pretty good night for me. But so that's what I went with for this short slate. So let's talk about the 10-game slate for Friday. Let's see. There's one actually showdown game. Milwaukee Charlotte played at 2. I believe that's played overseas. I think that's why it's a 2 o'clock game. But okay, let's take a look at some numbers here. So, for this 10-game slate, we have, 6 games that are out right now. We have Memphis and Detroit sitting at 227.5 with Detroit favored by 1.5 points. We have the Raptors and Knicks sitting at 215.5. The Raptors are favored by 7.5. We have the Nuggets and Pelicans right now sitting at 231. The Pelicans favored by 3. We have the Rockets and T-Wolves sitting at 234.5. The Rockets favored by 5. We have the Kings and the Bulls sitting at 221. The Bulls favored by 2. And we have the Suns and the Spurs right now sitting at 229 with the Spurs favored by 4. All right, so as always, we'll start our center here. And Karl-Anthony Towns at the top at 10.2K. I think does stand out as a really solid spend up here. Now, the game against Chicago only played 31 minutes. I would not be worried about that. He got in some foul trouble and got probably 6 or 7 minutes taken away from him due to that foul trouble. He picked up 2 fouls early in the third quarter and didn't play a whole lot there in that third quarter. So still 31 minutes, 51 fancy points, 40 real-life points. A big game there from him against Chicago. This game is going to be played at a really fast pace here against Houston. So I do think Cat Stansel is a really solid spend up if you can get to, if you can afford him. So someone I'm very much considering as a spend up. Also, same thing with Jokic. We have, we can look at these Denver guys really quick once again because, here, let me go to Denver. They could be pretty short-handed again, right? We have Jamal Murray already out. We have Millsap already out. And we have Plumlee already out. We have Gary Harris listed as questionable. And we have Michael Porter Jr. listed as questionable. If both those guys can't go, then it's going to be the Jokic and Barton show in one of the best possible spots. So, I think Jokic certainly plays a spend up as well. I really like him and Cat as spend up centers once again on this slate. So, yeah, two of my favorite plays there, if you can get to them at the top range. Drummond at 9.5 is dealing with, it was a lip injury he missed that last game, or a lip laceration. I think he's doable at this price, but I think I just like the upside a little bit more with Jokic, a little bit more with Towns. Sabonis at 8.6, and the price did come up at the last game. I really liked him that last game against Phoenix. 34 minutes, 50 fancy points. I don't mind getting to him. I don't think he stands out as good of a play as he was that last slate, right? But I still think he's certainly viable against Golden State here, right? Like, no one in Golden State is going to be able to stay with Sabonis. So I do have some interest here in Sabonis at 8.6K. Ayton as well. He had a kind of an off game. I think that maybe lowers his ownership. But we saw what he did against the Spurs like a few days ago, right? 39 minutes, 48 fancy points. He's been a machine. Besides that last game against the Pacers, we got in some foul trouble. Just had an off game. So yeah, another sped-up center you can certainly consider. Vucevic at 8.4K. I think he's more of a contrarian option. He's been pretty safe this year. He had a good game last game against OKC. Boston to be without Cantor. I mean, that's probably actually a hit to Vucevic. Cantor, one of the worst defenders. But Tice, too, not the best defender either. So I'm okay with Vucevic. But again, I think I prefer Towns. I think I prefer Jokic. I just like the upside in those guys a little bit more. John Collins at 8.4. They jumped his price up a lot after that huge game. Very tilting DFS, right? Because I played him. I talked about it on Twitter. I played him, what was it? Against Brooklyn when there's no Trae Young, and he got 22 fancy points. He was the one letdown in my lineup. If he would have had a big game, I could have won a GPP that night. And then when I fade him the other night, he goes for 67. That's just how it goes. But I think you can consider him only if Trae Young misses. If Trae Young's available, I don't think I can go at 8.4 for John Collins there. Bam Adebayo at 8.2 is okay, but again, I just like the upside more of some of those guys at the top as far as centers go. Randall against Toronto, I'll probably pass. Siakam at 7.7, so the Raptors starters finally got normal minutes after being very limited last few games. Siakam got 34. I think Fred VanVleet got like 37. Lowry got a good amount of time as well. Yeah, I'm okay with him, but again, the price is coming up as well, 7.7K, and there is some blowout risk here. Next, one of the worst teams in the league. Capella at 7.6, I'll pass. Aldridge was pretty high on him the other night against the Pelicans, 35 minutes, 59 fancy points. Don't mind going back here in a good spot against Phoenix. The issue is, again, they raised his price to 7.5K. Harrell with Kawhi coming back, I'll pass there. JV, always in play for GPPs. Zion that was unbelievable, that game. I was watching that 3-minute stretch where he put up, over, I think it was like 20 points, or 17 points was it in 3 minutes? Something crazy like that. He just went off after struggling early in the game. 6.4K, I just can't do it. I know he can have big upside games in limited time, but I still think they're going to ease him back into it, and the price has come up too, so I'll probably pass there on Zion. Steven Adams, this is pretty significant. He is questionable. If he can't go, we can look to Nerlens Noel, who I think would be a pretty solid value play. Other options, Favors. So Favors got in some foul trouble. He only played 23 minutes. The worry is they use Zion a decent amount at the 5, which I think is an issue for Favors. Minutes could be at times. I think, if Favors didn't get in foul trouble there, he probably gets closer to 28 minutes. And we've seen big upside games from Favors when he gets minutes, right? Like, this guy is a really good point per minute guy, so I think he's still viable. I'm just a little bit worried with his minutes there. But again, just bring it like I don't think Zion's be able to hang with Jokic, right? I think Favors is their best bet, and we know Jokic will be out there most of the game with no Plumlee, no Millsap, so maybe that does solidify Favors minutes. Let's see other options. So Enes Kanter is out. You can look to Daniel Tice. I think we get more minutes for sure than 17 and 19, which he's seen in the last couple of games. I think we probably get upper 20s, maybe 30 at the very high end. I just think they're going to add, they have other guys that can use, right? Other guys that can dust off of the bench. We know Brad Stevens is not going to play Daniel Tice like 35 plus minutes, right? I think we get 25 to 28 minutes, somewhere in that range. Again, the issue here though is the price tag, right? 5.3K, not a very great, not like it doesn't stand out as a great value play. Now, Noel would be someone I could certainly look to if Steven Adams can't go. I think he would probably get close to 30 minutes what we saw there against Orlando, and a really good spot here against Atlanta. So he would be someone I would look to for sure if Adams can't go. Gasol, 4.9. Again, the starters minutes got a little bit more run. He got 25 minutes. I'm okay with him as a cheaper center option. Markieff Morris, like these Detroit guys with Drummond most likely coming back. I just don't think I can go there. Let's see. Yeah, Wood, not for me with Drummond coming back. Dedmon at 4.6. So where's Marvin Bagley? Did he already get ruled out? Yeah, he is already out. Okay, so I think Dedmon is a viable cheaper option as well because I was originally pretty heavy on him, and then I forgot that they had Tolliver on the roster, and I was a little bit concerned that they would split the center minutes 3 ways with him, Tolliver, and Giles. But Tolliver strictly played the backup 4, which is good to see for Dedmon, right? Because if it's just going to be Dedmon and Giles splitting those center minutes, then Dedmon's probably going to get over 30 minutes, and he was dealing with some foul trouble too. So, yeah, I think Dwayne Dedmon is very much in play, even at this price point, if he's going to continue to get these minutes, right? Like, just going off last game, Tolliver did not get any backup 5 runs. So, that is good to see for Dedmon's minutes. I think he's certainly in play as a value center. Let's see, other options down here. So, just thought I'd bring it up. James Johnson has been getting some decent run the last couple games. 29 and 29 minutes in back-to-back games. 40 and, only 14 fancy points. But it is good to see that he's at least getting some run there. So, okay, hold on. Jimmy Butler he played in the last game against Washington, right? I'm almost positive he did. I want to confirm that's just not because of Jimmy Butler being out that James Johnson got those minutes. I'm almost positive he played. Yeah, Jimmy Butler did play that one. So, Myers Leonard kind of got limited to only 14 minutes. I guess they used the bench a lot here with James Johnson, 29, Kelly Olynyk, 21, Jones Jr. at 29, Dragic, 30, and Hero, 33. So, if he's going to continue to play close to 30 minutes, I think he is someone you can take a shot on, but, Miami's rotations can be inconsistent at times, so that is a little worrisome for sure. Giles, how much minutes did he? He got 11 minutes. Yeah, as a punt play, maybe Dedmon gets in foul trouble, right? But probably not for me. So, yeah, that basically wraps up for center. Let's move on to power forward. We already talked about a lot of these guys. Ingram with Zion playing, I can't do it at that price. This is pretty significant for these Boston guys. We have Tatum questionable. We have Brown questionable. If both those guys can't go, certainly we can look to the other 3 guys with Hayward, with Smart, with Kemba. Now, again, not really the best spot against Orlando, but if both those guys are out, that's just a lot of minutes and usage around. So those other 3 Boston guys would be the ones I would consider. Hayward, I guess they did a good job raising his price, 6.8K. Like, even if both those guys are out, I wouldn't say Hayward's like a must play, but he would certainly become more appealing, right? Other options like these OKC guys in a really good spot. I don't mind getting to one of them, whether it be Gallinari, SGA, Chris Paul, Schroeder. Right, I'm certainly fine going to one of those guys in a really good spot. Bielitsa at 6.7. I think he got 29 minutes that last game. Yeah, doesn't really stand out to me. Let's see. Not a whole lot I'm excited about in this range of guys for power forward. Yeah, really not a whole lot at all, actually. Like JaMychal Green, Kawhi coming back, I can't do it. OG's minutes been way down, 21 in back-to-back games. I don't even think I can do it at that price. RHJ, how many minutes did he get that last game? Only 14, right? So don't think I can go there either. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot of cheap. Like Grant Williams will probably get a little backup 5 run, but not enough for me to consider him. That's really it. There's not a whole lot of cheap power forwards that I'm really interested in on this slate. Yeah, so let's move on to small forward. Kawhi Leonard, we have Paul George already ruled out. So Kawhi is going to have to do a lot offensively, right? He's been really good recently. 61, 50, 65, 64 fancy points. So in close games, too, he's been getting 35-plus minutes. The one downside is, the matchup, right? Miami is a pretty solid defensive team, but Kawhi's has been playing great basketball, so I have no issue if you want to go to him as a spend up. Am I gonna go to Kawhi personally? Probably not. Like, I think I prefer those center spend ups with Cat in a really good spot, with Jokic in a really good spot, compared to Kawhi, who is a really good player, obviously, but not the best matchup, right? So I think I would lean towards those two center spend ups. Now, this is pretty significant because we have a lot of guys from Miami questionable. Let me go to Miami really quick. So we have Jimmy Butler listed as questionable with knee soreness. We have Goran Dragic listed as questionable. And we have Kendrick Nunn listed as questionable. So this is, and Winslow's out still. So if all three of those guys are out, then obviously Bam would get a pretty big boost. But Hero, I would really like. James Johnson would stand out as a really good value play. Same with like Derrick Jones Jr., Kelly Olynyk. Those would all be guys I would look to if like a lot of these guys miss. If like Jimmy Butler misses, then again we could look like Dragic, Nunn, Hero. If one of these guys miss, whether it be Dragic or Nunn, we could look to the other one, and then Hero will get more run too. So all dependent on who ends up playing there for Miami. So definitely something to keep an eye on as far as injuries go there. DeRozan had a little bit of a letdown game, but it was the Aldridge show in that game against the Pelicans. I have no problem going back here at 7.9K. Again, not really super concerned about that kind of bust game. He's been really, really consistent other than that game. So I'm perfectly fine going back to DeRozan. I think the ownership will be down on him a bit. Will Barton, I like a good amount too. I know he was a bit of a letdown there against Houston. 38 minutes, 26 fantasy points. But the upside is just there, especially if Gary Harris and Michael Porter Jr. can't go, right? Denver doesn't have anyone else who can score the ball besides like him and Jokic. So I would very much consider him if both those guys are out. Even Wiggins, he's been very up and down. I think only for GPPs, right? 30, 52, 26, 46. So at least the upside is there again. And this is a really good spot. So I'm okay going to him for GPPs. Other options, let's see. Again, Jaylen Brown questionable. If him and Tatum can't go, then we can look to those other Boston guys. Let's see. Covington at 5.8 is okay. I think I'd only go there as part of a game stack, though. The Golden State guys that everyone's starting to get healthy, I'll probably pass. Only really guy of interest there is D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, there's honestly not a whole lot down here that, as far as value goes. Yeah, those Miami guys could be value plays, right? If a lot of those guys, if Jimmy misses, if Dragic misses, Nunn misses, then we can look to a lot of those Miami guys. So possibly that's where we could get some value, right? Rudy Gay, I believe he was pretty limited. Yeah, only played 9 minutes, so can't go there yet until I see him play more minutes. That's really it, though. There's not a whole lot down here that I'm really considering. So let's talk about shooting guard. James Harden at the top at 11.1. So the question is, do you want to bank on the fact that Harden is going to have a bounce back game soon? Because he is, right? He's been playing not good recently. He's not shooting the ball well. It's been the Russell Westbrook show. Westbrook's been playing unbelievable. So if you're a guy in DFS that likes riding the hot hand, go with Westbrook. If you're a guy that likes buying low on guys and likes low ownership, then go with Harden, right? Because Westbrook has clearly been outplaying Harden. He's been way better. He's been great for DFS. While Harden has been struggling, not doing a whole lot offensively. So I think the ownership is going to go massively to Westbrook, but I still like Harden here at 11.1K. I think his ownership will be low because of recency bias. Zach LaVine at 8.8 is an okay price, but I don't see myself going there on this slate. Booker, I believe he kind of had an off game. Yeah, it was a blowout there. He only got 31 minutes. In close games, he's been getting about 40 or so. So I'm okay with him as a contrarian spend up there. Again, these OKC guys, I'm fine if you land on any of those guys. Any of those big four with SGA, with Gallinari, with Chris Paul, with Schroeder, and then even a guy like Nerlens Noel, right, if Adams can't go. So one of the best possible spots here against Atlanta, so I'm certainly fine. I'm really fine with any of those OKC guys. D'Angelo Russell at 7.8K, I like a good amount here. That game against Utah blew out, so only played 28 minutes, but he's going to get about 35 in a close game. So I do like him a good amount here at this price. He has pretty big upside in my opinion. So really like him. I also have a good amount of interest in Fred VanVleet at 7.7. He got 42 minutes that last game against Philly, and that game did not go to overtime. So kind of out of nowhere, right? His first game back 28, then 26, and then 42. So if we're going to get Fred VanVleet back to those normal minutes of playing like close to 40 a game, then he is certainly in play here. Now the concern is, yeah, there's a little bit of blow risk for sure, right? But I think he does stand out as a pretty solid play. D Rose at this price point with Drummond back, I'll probably pass. I just don't see myself going there. Lou Williams, I mean, for GPPs, he's going to be super low owned after having an off game with both Kawhi and Paul George out. I don't see myself going there, but if you're a contrarian guy, I mean, he's probably going to be under 5% owned. These other Pelicans guys with Zion back, it just really takes a hit to their usage. Yeah, Schroeder, again, I'm okay with him off the bench. A lot of those OKC guys, like I'm fine landing on any of those guys, to be honest. Herder could be a guy we could look to if Trae Young misses, so that's something to keep an eye on for sure with Trae Young's status. Let's see, other options here. I mean, Culver had a bad game the last game, but he's been getting decent run, right? It's a really good spot. I'm okay taking a dart throw and just hope he's been very up and down, but hope he has like a good shooting night. Tyler Hero, this is, he had played 33 minutes the last game at 37 fantasy points. The minutes have been very up and down on him this season. So again, something to keep an eye on for sure is the status of a lot of those Miami guys. If one or two or all three can't go, then Hero would become a very, very good value play. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on with the status of those other Miami guys. Let's see. Aaron Holiday at 4.5. We already have Brogdon listed as out for this game. They started teaching McConnell in the second half of that game. So that is, we'll see what they end up doing. They've started Holiday a decent amount when Brogdon was out. Again, they couldn't start Malcolm Brogdon. I think whoever starts is probably the safer option because they're going to have play more minutes, while the guy who comes on the bench more of the GPP, contrarian option. As far as, maybe like a Malik Beasley, right? But you just never know with these minutes. 39, 14, 24, 31. I think you could take a dart throw on him if Gary Harris and Michael Porter Jr. are out, just because they really would be pretty thin on bodies. Brandon Goodwin, right? He had a pretty solid game. They actually closed with him over Jeff Teague. Maybe you could take a dart throw on him if Trae Young can't go. But, yeah, I think that wraps it up for shooting guard. So let's talk about point guard here. So, again, if you like riding the hot streaks, it's what Russell Westbrook is your guy. He has been playing amazing, like out of nowhere, kind of. He's been, kind of not great this year, but this stretch of, 4 or 5 games, he's just been tearing it up, playing huge minutes. The peripheral stats, too, the rebounds, the assists, right? They're going up, getting steals, too. This is a really good spot against Minnesota. So I am perfectly fine going with Westbrook over Harden if you're a guy that likes riding hot streaks, right? I think both are pretty appealing. I think Westbrook's going to be higher owned, but I have no issue if you go to Harden. Again, if you want to go Westbrook, that's perfectly fine with me as well. I think one of those guys is probably going to have a big game unless it blows out. Now Trae Young, this is pretty significant. He is listed as questionable with that thigh injury. If he's available, I would like him as a contrarian play here. 9.4K is pretty cheap for Trae Young. I know the matchup to OKC, not really the best, but he just plays big minutes when he plays. Like, we'll probably get close to 40 minutes from him if he's available, if he's good to go. So definitely something to keep an eye on with his status. Fox, with Bogdan coming back, his minutes have been down. I don't think I can do it there against the matchup against Chicago. Kemba Walker, again, this is kind of strictly dependent on the status of Tatum and Brown. If both those guys can't go, then I would consider those other Boston guys. Yeah, CP3, right? Any of those main OKC guys, I'm perfectly fine landing on. I think a couple of those guys will have a pretty big game here. And one of the best spots those fouls against Atlanta. Let's see. Lonzo Ball, even with Zion back, even with everyone back, he played 39 minutes, had 49 fantasy points. So I'm okay with him. He's probably my favorite Pelican, him or Derek Favors. But yeah, I'm still okay getting to Lonzo there. Kyle Lowry at 7K. Again, it's really good to see he got 35 minutes. A lot of the starters got extended a bit. So I think this price stands out a good amount for Lowry. Again, the one concern is, yeah, sure, there's a little bit of a chance for a blowout, but 7K for a guy that probably gets over 35 minutes if the game stays close, I think that really stands out for Lowry. So, yeah, I think he's a pretty solid play at that price. Again, Brogdon out, so we look to Aaron Holiday. We look to T.J. McConnell. Let's see, other options. I'm okay with Shabazz Napier at 5.3. Jeff Teague out of town. His minutes are pretty secure. Now, he's not going to do a whole lot offensively, right? 8-4, 8-6 shot attempts, but he's going to get a good amount of assists, right? Throwing balls up to Karl-Anthony Towns. And again, this game's going to be played at a really fast pace, so I'm okay with Shabazz here at this price. DeJounte Murray always in play for GPPs. The issue is his minutes have been a little bit up and down, right? 33, 22, 24, 24. And Derek White has been playing really well, which has been kind of hurting DeJounte Murray's minutes. Let's see. Monte Morris, kind of in the same situation as Shabazz Napier for me, right? I think both get probably about 30 or so. A good matchup for Monte Morris. Again, he's not going to do a whole lot offensively, but he should get a good run with Jamal Murray out. Now, a guy like T.J. McConnell was really solid that game, starting the second half against Phoenix, 27 minutes, 40 fantasy points. So I'm okay with either him or Aaron Holiday. Again, I think whoever picks up the start is probably the safer option there for the Pacers. Derek White been playing really well, right? That's kind of been limiting DeJounte Murray's minutes, 26, 27, and 27 for Derek White the last 3 games. If you like riding hot streaks, I'm okay with that. Teague was a letdown to me and a lot of people, right? He was like 85% owned in the high dollar tournaments I was in the other night. If Trae Young misses, you could go back to him because I think his ownership is going to be super, super low owned after letting a lot of people down. So, yeah, that's strictly dependent on, Trae Young news there. Reggie Jackson actually played really well in his first game back. Played 19 minutes, 36 fantasy points. That is not something we normally see from Reggie Jackson. He's normally a pretty low usage guy. So I think, that's more of an outlier game. I'll let others chase it. I need to see him play more minutes. I need to see him play like this more consistently before I can target him with confidence. So I'll probably pass there. And that basically wraps it up for point guard. So, yeah, 10 games, again, a lot to go over. There's still a good amount of injury news we're waiting on, too. But, again, brief overview here. So, Boston-Orlando, not a very appealing game. I think, I would consider those Boston guys if Tatum and Brown can't go. Again, Kemba, Smart, Hayward, those would be the guys I'd look to. Tice is okay with Cantor out, but I still don't think he plays huge minutes on the Orlando side. Kind of Vucevic, I guess, and that's it. I'm not super excited about Vucevic either. I like the upside more with Cat. I like the upside more with Jokic. Memphis, Detroit. On the Memphis side, not a whole lot stands out for me. On the Detroit side of Drummond back, it's kind of the same thing. It is a sneaky game, but not a whole lot really sticks off as a great play there. On the Toronto side, I think there's a good amount to like for Toronto, right? The minutes finally went up for those starters. So Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Siakam, I think those guys are certainly in play. On the New York side, probably not anything I'm getting to there. Houston, Minnesota, so this game really stands out as an appealing game here. On the Houston side, Westbrook or Harden, I think one of those guys can have a big game. On the Minnesota side, I really like Cat. I'm okay with Wiggins too. I'm okay with Shabazz. Clippers and the Heat. So with Kawhi coming back, that definitely takes a hit to a lot of the Clippers guys, right? Like Lou and Montrez, not super excited about them. I think the only guy I would have interest in is Kawhi as a spend up, but don't even know if I'm going to get to him. On the Miami side, it's strictly dependent on news, right? We have Jimmy questionable, we have Nunn questionable, we have Dragic questionable, so got to keep an eye on injury injury news there. Atlanta, OKC. Kind of dependent on Trae Young news. If Trae Young plays, it's probably Trae Young for me, and that's it. If Trae Young misses, it's John Collins. We look to Kevin Huerter, Jeff Teague maybe, or a guy like Brandon Goodwin. On the OKC side, I'm fine with any of those 4 guys I listed, right? SGA, Chris Paul, Gallinari, and Schroeder. Really, really good spot for those guys. Noel would be a guy I would look to for sure if Steven Adams can't go. Sacramento and Chicago, not a whole lot I'm excited about here. I think my favorite play would be Dwayne Dedmon, actually. Because, again, Tolliver did not play any backup 5. It was him and Giles. So I think Dedmon does stand out as a pretty solid, cheaper option there if he's going to continue to play over 30 minutes. On the Chicago side, not a whole lot really stands out to me. Denver and the Pelicans, it's kind of dependent on Gary Harris and Michael Porter Jr. If both those guys can't go, Jokic and Barton really stand out as good spend-up plays. Also wouldn't mind Monte Morris or taking a shot on a guy like Malik Beasley. On the Pelican side, with Zion back and everyone fully healthy, not a whole lot I'm excited about. I think Lonzo and Favors probably be my favorite plays there on the Pelican side. As far as Zion himself goes, I don't think I could go there unless we get news that he's like his minutes restrictions are going to go up, right? Unless we hear of like maybe like a 25 minutes limit or something like that, then I would have a little bit of interest in Zion. Phoenix and San Antonio, this game should be pretty appealing on the Phoenix side. I think Booker and Ayton stand out as pretty solid spend-ups if you can get to them. On the Spurs side, it's Aldridge, DeRozan, obviously. DeJounte Murray or Derek White. I think one of those guys probably have a big game as well. And last game here, Late Night Hammer, is 2 hours later than the latest game. On the Pacers side, it's whoever starts at point guard, whether it be McConnell or Aaron Holiday. And then Sabonis, for me, I think stands out. On the Golden State side, it's kind of D'Angelo Russell for me, and that's it. But I do like D'Angelo Russell a good amount. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. Again, if you want to get entered into the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. I unfortunately am not going to be able to live stream for this one. I have family coming to town this weekend, so probably won't be able to live stream, or I definitely won't be able to live stream tomorrow. Probably not Saturday, but possibly Sunday. So I'll keep you guys updated. I will still have a video, though, for Saturday. I'll have that up probably Saturday morning, so be on the lookout for that. Maybe Friday night, we'll see. But yeah, thanks again for everyone coming to check out the video, and I will see you guys later.